do you mind talking about the money? So when you say that, it really got going, I love my audience to hear what that felt like and looked like, on a financial level.
Yeah, well, to be honest, at one moment I created a training program. And it was based on a book, or the book was based on a training program. So, in my country, there was a little a change in the social work field, and the national how do you call it, branch organizations. Well, they ask social workers to make some changes in their profession profile, and then social workers said, "Well, we want to, but then we need to have some training on that." And it was about networking, becoming visible in the marketplace, becoming more entrepreneurial. So it was my cup of cake. So, and at that moment, I created a warm network, also with national people working on the national organizations. And then they said, "Okay, Anneke, can you develop this training program for us?" And I said, "Okay." And then they created a subsidy for it. Yeah. So organizations could hire me, social workers could hire me and get a subsidy for that. They get the subsidy and pay me with the subsidy. So that went skyrocket high, and it meant for me that I had to work very, very hard. So I did not even have time to look at my bank account, what I was doing. And at one moment I looked at, whoa, this is really a lot of money coming in. And I made my first 6 figures, and then the second 6 figures. And so it went skyrocket high, but the shadow side of it, I worked very, very, very hard at that moment. And at one moment, and I think when I look back that I was too late on that point. I hired a second person in my business, and I hired an assistant. I hired all kind of people to help me in my business. But I think I was too late on that, because at one moment, and it's a private thing, but I think it has to do with each other somehow. But at one moment, I got into my divorce. I was married for 30 years. And I got divorced. And the good part was, well, divorce is not a good part. So let's be clear on that. It was a very sad period in my life.
Yeah.
Now 5 years ago, it was a sad period. But with all the money on my bank account, there was really a lot of money. I was able to buy the house that we were living in, because my ex-husband wanted to move to another place. I said, okay, then I can stay in the house, and I could buy the house, and I could buy new furniture and all the other things. I could buy my own car. So when women divorce, I often see that money is a real problem. But for me, there was abundance in my life with 2 income, my husband and I. But when I was alone, there was still abundance. So there was also money to take my time to grieve. And at one moment, I think it was a year later, I said, well, now I'm ready to start working again and start being active in my business again. My business was still there, was still working, but most of the work I asked my partner to do it. So he made a lot of money. He became rich too. And that's wonderful. And that's a wonderful part of bringing in money, that there will be a moment that you can share the abundance. So it was not only me making profit of my business, but there was also this second trainer, Hans. There was also my assistant, and everybody made profit from my business. So that was a very good moment. So, but when after my divorce, the dust was gone, and I thought, well, I'm back again. And then this subsidy was finished.
Yeah.
And then the problem with social workers is that, well, they want to pay, but when they get it for free, it's better. So at that moment, they had to pay it themselves. And there was still coming new clients coming in, still new trainings coming in. But I was not able to get it back on the level of a double six figures as it was. So I came into a phase of my business. So I was skyrocket high, and now I'm here. And what does it mean? And is it enough? And can I change things in my business? So that was again a phase. It felt a little bit like the starting period, but it was a period of making changes to my business. And being an entrepreneur with so many years of experience, I knew what I had to do. So it really felt like there was less money coming in, but I felt that I was even more growing in my entrepreneurial role, in my entrepreneurship, in leadership, because entrepreneurship always comes with leadership. I think it's a wonderful couple.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. And what happened then, I fell in love again.
This is my favorite part of the story. Well, I don't know how much you're going to share, but I do love your love story.
Yeah. Well, I'm always an open book, and I started. Well, I knew that I wanted a new love in my life, so I went on online dating. Online dating. Lexa. Do you have Lexa in America too? No.
Not that I know of. I haven't been on though.
Okay. So, and then I had my first date, and it was him. So I thought that I would start a period of 1 year, 2 years, perhaps 3 years, 4 years of dating with men and finding the right one. But the first date was the right one. So, I think also a beautiful part of the story that he is working for the government. So there were social workers in my country, and people of the local government always go like this about money. I went into a relationship as a social worker with somebody, some guy of the local government. Yeah. And it also meant that he was not working, he's working hard, but not every evening, every weekend. And that was what I was doing. I was in my efforts of bringing my business back to this high level. I was working every evening, every weekend. But then there he was. So he said, let's do something nice this weekend. What shall we do this evening? And then I realized that something had to change. That I really had to make a big change in my business. And then we talk about last year. And then I said, okay, I think I need a new business. And it was very scary because all my life, all my entrepreneurial life, I was really, really in love with the social workers and the work that I'm doing with them, training, coaching, speaking, engaging, building this community, international, meeting you and all these other wonderful people. And I really felt, well, I cannot leave them. But on the other hand, if I want to work less hard, I knew that I had to work in my new business with higher level prices. So working hard, less money, bringing in a lot of money means even working harder. But when you level up your prices, you have to work less hard. So I made that choice. So last year I started my new business. It's called The Art of Seniority. And my audience are now men and women in their 50s, the middle age, because I think when you are in your middle age, that there are still so much opportunities to make changes to your life, to be happy and not to become grumpy, because I see many men and women of my age become very grumpy. And when you are in your 50s, you still have to go 40 years, perhaps 50 years. You don't want to be grumpy for 50 years, so you have to work on your happiness, take personal leadership. So now I'm an executive coach for men and women in their 50s, and I am offering high-level, high-priced coaching programs. But the fun part is, and that's when it all comes together, that my clients now, my coaches, are still coming from the social work field.
I love it.
And in the beginning, it felt like a kind of a miracle. What's happening? I said goodbye to the social work field, and here they are again. And then I knew, but I love them. And I think that they still love me. And I think that they are my community. They are my peeps. They are my warm friends, my warm network. So starting a business, always look for your warm network, and where you have entrance, where you can meet people, where you can be what you are, where you can follow your passion. So that's what it is now. I am still working in the social work field, but doing coaching as an executive coach on a higher level. And it means that I'm still helping people with their businesses. One of my last coaches was a wonderful woman of 56 she was, and she has been for 20 years the CEO of a huge social work organization in our country, and she wanted to quit her job, and she wanted something new in her life, and she thought of her own business. So I coached her in creating her own business, and she did, and she's very happy with it, and I'm very happy coaching on this high level, and still engaging people on this entrepreneurial path, and in combining with leadership. So
I love it. So there's so many things I love about what you just said. Number one, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing about, the divorce and the pain that brought, and allowing us to hear, how even that was pivotal in where you are right now, and meeting Will, and, his influence, helping you to really think about how you organize your business and ultimately your life. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. That's great. And then also for those that I'm never sure who's watching these videos. I know that generally they're women, female social workers between females, I'll say, between I think it's like 28 and 45, something like that. But I'm never sure where they are in terms of their business prowess. So when you say warm network, just for those that may not know, I know you're talking about, where you already have affinity, where you already, the network where you're already existing and where people already know you, or where you're already comfortable, as opposed to a cold network where, you're tapping into people or an industry or a community where you don't really know anyone, no one knows you, you're not sure about it. So that makes so much sense.
And there's one more thing. You have to market yourself. And social workers are not good in doing their marketing. So let's be honest, it's very difficult to market yourself. When you want to make an entrance in a cold market, you don't have any peeps who know you, or relations, or knowledge, or warm hearts to meet from heart to heart. The marketing will even be more difficult. So when you want to make it easy for yourself, don't make it too difficult, but start nearby. Start with the people you know. Start with, what is it? Why do I know them? Why do they like me? Why do I like them? And what are their needs? So make this marketing part easy for yourself. Because I still feel, after all these years of being in business, being successful in business, that the marketing part is not the most a wonderful part of my business, of being an entrepreneur. I can still feel some days, oh, I have to make a post again on LinkedIn, or oh, I have to write something again, or I have to do follow up on that connection, or
Yeah.
it's not easy.
Yeah.
So make it easy on yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's 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 my area for growth. I'll say. I won't say weakness, but that's definitely my area for growth is in the social media marketing aspect. But you also talked about, having, well, let me back up and say the part that I also really liked about what you just said is that when you reimagine your business and your audience, you kind of left the social work box.
Mm-hmm.
There's many ways I could say that. I don't have to call social work a box, but you left, let's just say you left thinking about social workers and you started thinking about what aligns with you. And it's just beautiful that social workers still were attracted,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that align with your new position.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's
Wonderful.
just great. Yeah, because there's no compromise there.
It feels like a lifelong love or something in my life, and it's very welcome, and it makes both me and my coaches very happy. So it feels good. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So I think I have an idea because you shared a little bit about your life and your journey. But if I were to ask you, what does being a rich social worker mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say?
Well, mhm. Well, it's wonderful. Let me start with that. And even it's wonderful when we think of rich in having money, having no concerns about money. It's wonderful. That's what I would love for everybody, and especially for social workers. When you are in a profession taking care of others, you don't have to have worries yourself about your money. So it's wonderful that I don't have worries about money. Then I have two core values in my life, and one is freedom, and the other one is simplicity. And and they come together in being a rich social worker because when I look at my divorce, I was able to create my own freedom, knowing that I had money on my bank account. So it made me, I was able to create my own freedom. And when I made this change in my business, I really feel that because I don't want to work that hard anymore, that I have the possibility to make my own decisions. When I say I don't want to work on Fridays, so I will have a long weekend, um, in the first I thought, oh, but I have to work on Fridays. And every Friday I felt, I have to work. But now I'm used to it. And I have long weekends every week. I don't work on Fridays.
Yeah.
So I'm able to, and I feel strong. I think that's also, and I have the self-confidence to work on my own terms in my own business. So it means for me freedom and simplicity. I think that the world of social work is sometimes so complex. So there are so many levels, backdoors, money streams that are not clear, and I don't like it. And I really feel that keeping my business at the moment very simple. I do one-on-one coaching, and now and then I do a workshop, but that's it, one-on-one coaching. That's what I'm good at the moment and what I want to do. I think that's it. So being a rich social worker, having the freedom to live my life on my own terms and feel the freedom and make it simple. That's it.
That theme of freedom is absolutely what I connect to being a rich social worker as well. And like you said, I think every social worker deserves that just by virtue of, the work that we do in the world, and your story, I think, is such a great example for what's possible. You were able to take care of yourself, even in, the time of crisis, take care of yourself. And did I get this right? You kind of took off of work for about a year and just, and just did what you needed to do for you, which I think is, ultimately what being a rich social worker means. So thank you for being that example. Tell us, because now you're global, so please tell my audience where they can find you.
Well, the best place to find me is on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I have a website, of course, but it's in Dutch, and the new website in English is not there yet. So the best way to find me is on LinkedIn, and I'm very open to connect. And you can send personal messages; I will respond. So that's the place where they can find me. Yeah.
And you also have, like, the program that you did, those 7 steps. I know you have that in English, yes?
Yeah.
And that I absolutely want to make available to my audience. So audience, you can check out the link below. And I really encourage you, if you want to, fast track your entrepreneurial journey, check it out.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for having this conversation.
Thank you, Eva.
As usual, you are such a beautiful soul and a beautiful light in the world. And I'm just so happy that we connected those many years ago. I really can't believe it's been so long.
Well, thank you so much, Eva, for having me, for having this wonderful conversation. And I admire you so much for bringing this message into the world of social workers, and for holding on and being strong. And
right?
Yeah. And in the same time, when I see you, it's always such a joy, because you look so happy and you bring so much happiness. So thank you for that.
Yes, I'm only radiating the joy that you bring to me. We could go on for days. So with that, everyone, thanks for watching. And we'll see you again next time.